This expressive language therapy project is going to benefit fourth grade students approximately in a group of 2 or 3 students. So this will be group therapy. The goals and objectives for this therapy session will be identifying the beginning, middle, and end of the story and increasing vocabulary and the social issue of turn taking. I will teach this skill by starting out with a very, very short story that has a very distinct beginning, middle, and end. So I will start, part of this therapy video will be instruction, and some will be actually demonstrating. This part is the demonstration part. Okay, everybody, come on in and have a seat. We're going to learn today about how to identify beginning, middle, and end of a story. And I'm going to tell you a very short story that I'm sure all of you have heard before. And I want you to think what happens at the beginning, what happens in the middle, and what happens at the end. So here goes the story. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Crown is your head. And Jill came tumbling after. So let's think, what happened first in that story? What was at the beginning of that story? What happened first? Yes, Jack and Jill went up the hill to do what? What were they going to do up there? Play? No. What were they going up the hill for? They were going up the hill to get some water in their pail. So first, the beginning is they went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. And then what happened? So that was the beginning. Then what happened? What happened to Jack? Yes, he fell and broke his head. So he fell down and broke his head. And then what happened? So they went up the hill to get the water. Jack fell down. And then what happened with Jill? Jill came tumbling after. So she fell down the hill too. So the beginning of the story is Jack and Jill went up the hill to get water. Jack fell down the hill and broke his head. And the end of the story is that Jill came tumbling after, so she fell down too. She fell down after him. So that tells us what the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story is, okay? So now what we're going to do, we're going to do a fun little activity. We're going to watch a video online, and it's a story that somebody's going to read to you. It's a little bit longer, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to talk about the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. Now, this story is called Sebastian's Roller Skates. Sebastian's Roller Skates. Now, let's watch this video. Here we go. Listen carefully.
Sebastian's Roller Skates, written by Jean de Duprat and illustrated by Princess Riviera. Sebastian didn't talk very much. Even though he had a lot to say, Sebastian was shy. He was very shy. The neighbors would say,
Okay, we're going to go back to more of the explanation part. We'll watch the rest of this video. This little story, it's very short. It's only like 5 or 6 minutes. And it's called, again, Sebastian's Roller Skates. Sebastian's a very shy little boy. In the very beginning of the story, he likes a little girl at school, and he doesn't want to tell the barber about that he doesn't like the way the barber cuts his hair, and he doesn't talk to people in the elevator. He's very shy. So that's the beginning of the story. When he's on his way home from school one day, he finds a pair of roller skates. And he tries, and he doesn't do very well at first, but it gets better and better because he sees the same pair of roller skates every day in the park. So every day after school, he walks to that same park and tries out those roller skates. Well, one day, a lady was walking through the park with her dog, and her dog got off the leash, or the leash escaped her hand, and he grabbed the leash about that same time as he was going by. The dog pulled Sebastian on the roller skates, and Sebastian learned how to skate. Well, this gave Sebastian a newfound confidence, and he was no longer shy. And it shows him talking to the people in the elevator. It shows him talking to the barber about the haircut and about other things too. And the little girl at school that he kind of has a crush on, he asked her if she'd like to go roller skating. So it's a really cute little story about the beginning is he's very shy, he learns to roller skate, and then he gets a newfound confidence and starts talking and really opens up to people. So it's a good lesson for some of these kids who have expressive language disorders too, that they can gain some confidence by things. So I'll hand each student a piece of this paper right here that has a square for beginning, middle, and end, and the title of the book, and a pencil. And depending on their level, we'll discuss the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. If they're a little bit more advanced, I'll have them write it, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. If they're a little bit more advanced, I'll ask some more abstract type questions like, how do you think Sebastian felt when this happened? Or how do we know that Sebastian wasn't shy anymore? What things about the story told us that he was no longer shy? So that's how I would bring it up for kids who were more advanced, and for kids who are struggling more, we would talk directly about this before we wrote anything down on the paper. I wouldn't have them do it independently at first. And I'd ask them more concrete questions about Sebastian and his role. What did he say to the man? Because that's a concrete answer. And then afterwards, after we get done with this, I'll have them put this away and we'll play a fun little game. And now we'll go back to more of a demonstration. Okay, everybody. Now we're going to play a game called Goober's Goat. And what it is I'm going to give you a word, or I'm going to give you a place, and I'm going to choose one of you to tell me something you would find there, and then we'll spiral off of that with other words. So I'm going to give you the location is a farm, and what can you find at a farm? What's something you can find at a farm? Egg. An egg from a chicken. Yes, you find an egg there. So when you think of egg, he said egg. What do you think of? Egg. What comes to your mind when you think about egg? Breakfast. Breakfast, yep. Very good. What about you? When he says breakfast, what do you think about? Lunch. Okay, he said lunch. What makes you think of lunch? Recess, because recess comes right after lunch. Okay, he said recess. What do you say? Dodgeball. That's something you play at recess. So we're going to keep going a little bit further. Now he said dodgeball. What do you say? Oh, pain. Oh, as you get hit by the ball at recess, the dodgeball, so that's pain. What do you do with that, or what happens with that with pain? Nurse. You think of nurse, okay? When he said nurse, what do you think of? Ice. Okay, she said ice. So what do you think of when she says ice? Cold. Okay. What do you think of when she said ice? What do you think of? Ice cream. Okay, that's cold. And then what do you think of when he said ice? or he said ice cream. I'm sorry, yes, you said ice cream. Cake, okay, ice cream, cake, those two things go together. And then what do you think of when she says cake? Birthday party, okay? So what was the first word we started out with? I said farm, and he said egg, because you find an egg at the farm. You do. That's where chickens lay their eggs, is on a farm. So he said egg, and the last thing you said was birthday party. So how close are egg and birthday party? We went through lots of words to get from egg, which is what he said, all the way to birthday party. So did you like that game? Yeah, we'll do that again, okay? I'm going to name a different place. Okay, let's do this one. The park. Okay, I'm going to go back to explanation at this point. We'll do the park or some other setting, and I'll have them name something there, and we'll do this same game again. Probably do 3 or 4 rounds of it. If the kids are struggling with it, we'll go slower, and I'll give them verbal cues and visual cues maybe. And then if they're advanced, if they're seem to be going pretty quickly and catching on to this game, then we'll go a little faster, and I may give them a little bit more difficult location, such as a laboratory or something. But in 4th grade, they probably could handle something like a library or a laboratory or something like that. So, and then that would probably be the end of our session. We'd end with that game, and then they would go back to class.